However, someone turned on the movie projector in my brain and I can't find the off switch. My sister wants me to climb Giotto's tower, but no, there's no way. My childhood dog, Dick Tracy, has been shot by a crazy old neighbor. We replaced the dog with a Scottish Terrier whom my father named England, so as to drive the guy who shot Dick even crazier, as the shooter was Scottish. My father purposely walked England past the shooter's house every weekend. If the shooter was outside, my father would exclaim, "You rule, England," or "England can't do anything wrong." In fact, the only thing England the dog could do right was tear nearby paper towels into minuscule pieces and consume them. Which reminds me, the napkin with the lady from Syracuse's phone number is still in my pants pocket. I roll off the bed as ninja-like as possible, but I am not a ninja, so I stumble on my face after tripping over a suitcase. My wife stirs for a second, and then she's back to sleep, dreaming of the Trevi fountain, or dinner at Jaja's, or more likely a more suitable husband. I don't blame her if she is dreaming of a different guy. I'm hardly the perfect man. I can be absent-minded about things, like birthdays. I can be a workaholic. Though I've never been unfaithful, I can be flirtatious. I often respond to remarks in song lyrics, even after she asks me to stop. In other words, I'm annoying. I find the pants at the same time I hear the bed creak, and when I turn around, my wife is looking at me as if there was something written in my face in very small letters. "You're looking for the ring now?" she asks. I nod, and she falls back in the bed. I reach into the pants pocket and find the napkin. Tomorrow I'll call her, just to tempt fate. Nothing more. I'll tell Jenny and my sister that I want to walk around on my own and then call her. Italians are not big breakfast eaters. It's as if to make this point clear, our hotelier leaves on the breakfast bar things like mortadella, provolone, and salami. There are pastries as well, but no eggs, bacon, or sausage. My father, the good American, would not stand for this. I can picture him striding up to the front desk, hands clasped behind his back, and leaning forward saying, "There are no eggs at this breakfast bar." Personally, I'm always looking for an occasion to eat mortadella, so I stack my plate. Jenny has chosen an indistinguishable light brown pastry. She eats it heartily, washes each bit down with a strong coffee. I do the same, relishing her discomfort in watching me chase mortadella with Italian roast. She squints and does a thing with her lips every time I go, I look forward to seeing Lisa, she says. Her tone is as light as it had been last night, which I silently thank God for. And yet, as light as her tone is, I can't help but think of the slip of napkin in my pocket. It's been a while, I say, and then I dip a forkful of mortadella into my coffee and stuff it into my mouth. That's disgusting, she says, to which I reply, Soylent Green is people. Outside, the sun seems a little brighter than yesterday. We walk the storm-gray cobblestone past stations of hanging sausage, cheese, fish. We pass an outdoor market where scarves blow in the light breeze and purses are strewn about tables. There are glass statues from Murano, vases bursting with flower bouquets, fruit and vegetables, wax of clothes, stacks of books. I buy a leather journal for €15, even though I already have one, which I dutifully record my activities and thoughts. Jenny stuffs the journal into the backpack that she insists on carrying, as I will lose it. And who am I to argue, the man who lost the ring? I touch the napkin in my pocket. The streets are filling up now. Scarred Italian men pass my wife, giving her a quick once-over, and I can't help but point that fact out. I hadn't noticed, she says. Of course. I see the cathedral right there. I follow her thick finger. The reliefs, Roman arches, engravings, even the perfect green outlines, make the church look fake, as if it were cut out of a painting, enlarged and placed here on the street for our observance. There is an entryway, sure, but I have a hard time imagining anyone being able to walk through it without hearing the rip of canvas. Oh, and there's the tower, Jenny says, pointing to the tall campanile adjacent to the church. My eye is immediately eradicated. There's no way, I say. I'm walking up that. As I walk up Giotto's tower, I curse Lisa under my breath. She's the one who convinced me to do it, and she did it without saying a word. She had stood in front of the tower's entrance with that smile, the one that always takes me back to my childhood, to when we used to sit in our parents' car and pretend we were driving around town, to when I used to sit up haunted houses in my bedroom with Halloween decorations and then lead her inside. Here, eat this, I'd say, and she'd stuff a skinned grape into her mouth. You just ate an eyeball, I'd tell her, in my scariest voice. Her smile reminded me of when we played hide-and-seek and tag and dark gun wars. My sister and I had been best of friends for a long time, and she always had this smile. You're doing great, bro, she tells me as she leads the way. She looks the same, tall, thin, and beautiful. My father once told me, presence, that's what your sister has. When I asked him what I had, he told me, potential. The Campanile's staircase is narrow and cramped. The stairs, the walls, everything is stone. Slices of light fall into the tower from the occasional window. Did Giotto have a fascination with dungeons, I asked? Tough it up, Lisa said. Jenny, who was behind Lisa, is panting, out of breath. My legs are beginning to cramp. More importantly, my mouth is drying up, a sure sign of anxiety. I'm up too high. Lisa, I think I'm done, I say. We're almost there. That's what you said 200 steps ago. I feel like I can't finish my sentence. If I hear myself say the words, I'll make those words come true. How many steps are there, my wife asks, probably just to stick it to me. 414, Lisa says. I hate you both, then. But Lisa wasn't lying earlier. A bright shaft of sunlight cuts through the darkness now. Voices fall into the tower from above. We are at the top. At first, my anxiety is so strong I feel like vomiting. I do my best to push this feeling aside. I'm in Italy, atop a tower, looking at the city of Florence. To my left is the cathedral's dome, much higher up in this tower, where people walk in circles. And there goes my sister, the woman who almost wasn't, walking to the railing with Jenny. They stand there talking for a long time, while I try to summon up the courage to approach the railing. I can't do it, though. I settle for looking at the rooftops from afar. I nervously stick my hands in my pockets where I feel something. I take the something out and realize it's the napkin. I can set this up right now, make up a story about how I need a little me time. Who am I kidding? Well, I can't do it. My orbit might be heading in a different direction than Jenny's, but I'd like to at least try to realign it with hers. What's that? Jenny asks. She's approaching me like that warden from the train. I struggle for an answer and say, my last minute. And then I stuff the piece of napkin in my mouth, chew and swallow, just like Dick Tracy. I don't feel noble about getting rid of the napkin in the slightest. Noble would have been to leave the number sitting on the table on the train. Jenny gives my shoulder a gentle squeeze and a peck on my lips. She tries to smile, but something holds her back. She finds another spot near the railing and stares at the city below. Hey, Pat, I say to Lisa. She turns around, her ear falling into her face. Her eyes are squinting against the wind, which seems much stronger up here. Yes, Dad, Lisa jokes. She walks over to me. Speaking of whom, I say, he has money for you, lots of it if you come back. Ah, she says. I shrug. You know, Dad, did I have a choice? There's money, I tell. No, I'm coming home anyway, she says, for a little while. And then she tells me how she spoke to Dad last night, how he informed her that he is dying of cancer. I'm about to ask her how she found this out if I would be for me. I live in the goddamn States, after all, and Dad must have known before yesterday. But I needn't ask such a silly question. Lisa is his favorite, just as I was my mother's favorite. Parents will tell you they don't play favorites. This is not true. One parent will inevitably spend more time with child number one, while the other spends time with child number two. Bonds are subsequently formed, nothing personal, just nature. At least, that's how it was when Lisa and I were growing up. He wanted me to tell you, Lisa goes on. Said he didn't know how. It's Dad, you know? Yes, I know. I try to imagine Lisa and me parentless, but this is impossible. Nobody can come to grips with such a thing before it happens. I imagine most can't do it after it happens. Jenny calls us over to the railing. Lisa puts her arm around me and walks with me. We all point at the objects below, at the churches dotted throughout town, at the rust-brown rooftops, at the restaurants where tall, lanky men with slender faces are being beckoned with the words, "El canto por favor," at the tiny cars and tour buses. Yes, even the buses are tiny. That's how high up we are. We are very high up. Okay, I say, making my way back toward the doorway. I'm ready to go back down.